Hi and welcome everyone. Channels being hacked, numbers and subs are rolling down. You know the story. I thank you ever so kindly for coming back and giving me a hand to try to resist them. Welcome everyone and welcome to newcomers, even though there's no new subscribers very much. They don't show up. Hopefully they will one day. My goal here is to have an amazing large group of people that we call a family of researchers all together as we're looking at the sun from August 2nd. So let's flip the sun around. There's the west side of the sun where we can see some activity. Look how hard it is to see, and I'll get into that later, the different magnitudes. It's like a Richter scale. There's different classes, C, M, X, and so on and so forth, from 0 to 9. So that would be a faint solar flare. Not this one. This one would be a brilliant solar flare, even though it's not so brilliant for Earth. Isn't it incredible? We can see some flaring also on the right side of the sun, and I'm going to show it to you in a bit. Now, this is the south side from August 2nd. Looks very similar to the one I got without the filter all the way back to July 22nd is when it started for me capturing it. And again, these are the solar flares facing Earth. I'm not telling you about the solar flares that are on the other side of Earth. There's the solar flares, a bit plasma clouds, whatever you want, faint, but still very large on the bottom, southeast side if you want, but it is in the south, right? On the bottom side. Look at it, how wide it is. This is very, very wide. It's many sizes of Earth in a line when you think of it. It doesn't look like much looking at it like that. This is cool. Hard to see, yes. If you have a large monitor, you will see it. Small, you probably won't. But we're seeing more flares on the right. But you definitely can see the flares that are in the center on the bottom, south-ish side, right? Incredible. There, let's look at the west side there. I'm trying to get the best angle for you to see the west side, because the west side has a lot of spotting, is what I call it. That's not a proper term. Like I said, they're aligning the magnetic fields. This is why we're seeing these lines, and we can see here. Let's go talk about some information, more info about the solar flare, so we know what we're looking at. Hi everyone. Before I get too deep into heliophysics, jeez, hey, it's not easy for me being a dumbass trying to explain everything that I'm capturing and filming, but I'm learning so much and I want to share it all with you. You know, class of stars, they undergo similar phenomena like flares on the sun that we're seeing, right? So there's different, real quickly, not to bore you all, solar flares can be classified as different intensities of light, obviously. So CMX class is very big. We've seen one in 2011. Actually August 9th, 2011, solar maximum. There was an incredible solar flare. It blinded even the cameras. Apparently X35 or X45, something like that. And X is very big. Like a Richter scale of an earthquake, goes from 0 to 9 for each class. So you're either filming something that is faint, something as normal intensity, or you're filming something that is brilliant. A solar flare, so it's a sudden flash, right, of increased brightness, obviously on the sun. It's observed near the surface and in close proximity, obviously, to the sunspot groups, because they're aligning. So these magnetic fields supposedly are aligning themselves. So powerful flares, not always, but they're accompanied by coronal mass ejections, but again, not always. Even the most powerful flares are barely detectable. So the lunar waves that I'm capturing and the double one I captured recently, could it be the radio waves? You know, just shooting that out there to confuse us all more. In reality, theories are beautiful, aren't they? Sometimes we can stay stuck on certain theories. I don't, but I come up with a lot, that's for sure, from just looking at what we're seeing. And again, this is yesterday, a couple hours ago, and I'm going to film it today after the interview with Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic 2. He's been having problems too. I think we'll probably be talking about some of that today. At 3 p.m. today, if you're watching this video, I will try to get it up before the interview with him. So we're seeing on the east side, the west side of the sun on the left, you could see clearly more fainter solar flares. Now, faint doesn't mean smaller necessarily. Yes, smaller, but they're still huge. We're talking about Earth-sized objects, these solar flares. Now, check it out. The sun started flashing. Only flashed once. Check it out. Boom, boom. Again, could be my camera also being affected, but I've seen videos around the world where they said the sun was flashing, and it can flash. So there's nothing taboo about sharing these findings. Look here, a couple days ago, not long ago, on the left, more flaring plasma clouds here too, and a large solar flare there, up near the north side of the moon. There's some more there, and more spotting I was calling it. But in reality, like I just told you, they're aligning the fields. So ever so interesting, the lunar wave. Let's go through some pretty incredible theories. Imagine if it was communication coming from the moon. In other words, that we were witnessing some type of communication like a radio wave. Radio waves are smaller than that, right? I don't know. It depends on how big the device is. I'll tell you what. We see this wave, and I honestly, truly believe it has a lot to do, if not only to do with the sun, is what I believe. Here last year, I showed this to you all before, but now it's really fun in these days to look at it. There's a lunar wave that's less intense, right? And being able to see these solar flares, which, by the way, I pretty much am sure that these are some of the largest flares the public would ever have seen, right? And hear me out. It is hard to see images that are not images from NASA, either illustrations or real ones that are really close to the sun with satellites. But aside from that, you know, land-based telescopes, I'm on land, and that's the incredible view that we got. So at the same time, first of all, I'm happy we got to see today's solar flares, August 2nd. Well, actually, for me, today's the 3rd, and I did film more solar flares today in the east part. Very, very windy, but I will get it up, and we'll be able to go over the flares together. So these are the flares during the week that I captured. You'll see something lift up off the moon there as that plasma clouds coming off of it. Right. Stationary UFO that does a lot of things and that I was able to film it. So this object is going to fly away. And we were talking about that this week. Not necessarily just flying across, it's flying away. So this object came towards me, and then stationary in the sky. I'm looking at this light jumping in and out around it. Really cool, and I'm analyzing it on now. Obviously, we're zoomed up right now, and watch what's going to happen is that when I do try to get a good zoom up on it, really slowly start zooming in, you're going to see this object take off straight down and away in front of me, and will split in two. Okay, I know. The guy's like, what a bullshitter. No, I'm a bullshitter if you mean that I'm lucky. Yeah, definitely lucky. There it goes. To my surprise, dead center in the camera splits in two. We are going to see that in slow motion. There it is. Well, slower. It's pretty fast. Look at the speed it's going. And boom. Can't say it didn't take off. It didn't split in two. All right, and that's exactly what we see. This is incredible. This is at the end of last summer. These aren't years and years ago. This is very recent activity, and there it is, splitting in two, which is pretty incredible. So if we slow it down and get in even more, it's awesome because we could see the object right there in the center, and that object with the glow around it are the UFOs that I see. I know it, and they come from some of the UFOs that are going by. It's fast. It's hard to distinguish that the lights are moving around them. You have to slow down the footage. You have to look at it, adjust the exposure, and you can see it here. Now, okay, let me tell you all something. I brought down the exposure so that no stars are visible. That's how low the exposure is. And you can see a light or several lights. I believe it's one, and I'm catching several frames of it moving around in the sky. I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, is that not incredible? Right? There it is, splitting in two. So whatever it is, it literally took off and split in two. Right. I was going to end the video, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add today's August 3rd footage, and we're going to look at that right now. But first, why not? I'll leave this in too. Yeah, we'll leave this in. No rush. We're on the moon. You guys and gals like watching the footage, and I'm more than happy to be able to do it. Jotload, Beyond Mystic 2. We're supposed to have an interview today, and no biggie. He was overbooked. I love the guy, and I'm going to do an interview with him tomorrow. And if it's not tomorrow, it'll be another day. I mean, life is good, man. And I appreciate you asking me over. It helps the channel. At the same time, you guys get to know Jotload. So that was Plato Crater. We're looking at colors on the surface, and this is the Apollo 11 landing site where you can see greenery, blues, a whole bunch of colors, browns and grays, obviously, and these white lights on the surface are bright patches. So wanted to share that with you too. So let's go over and see August 3rd. This is 30 minutes ago. Well, okay, it's uploaded an hour, so this was an hour and a half ago. Well, it's very, very windy, but I'm still happy I had the chance to show you all that in the east, there's that large flaring. And you'll see in the next footage, which was just 15 minutes later, you'll see that there's two flares right there. Take a look at that. So I did want to share this with you all. It was a part of tomorrow's video. I said, hey, why not? Since you're all pushing and trying to help me with the numbers rolling down. I thank you all for the support, everyone. And don't change what you're doing. Keep coming back to the channel. If, of course, you're interested in the research and you do want to support this channel, well, by coming back, you're definitely doing it. I want to thank each and every one of you for all the generous help, the contributions, donations, and of course, I know each and every one of you are deliberately forcing yourselves, pushing yourselves to come here even more often than you usually do, and I see it, and I thank you all. Even though the numbers are rolling down, I do see the help, and I appreciate it. So that was the sun, folks. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Crawlface. So thank you very much. Please subscribe to the channel and come back and resubscribe if they take you down. We got this, folks.
The man they suffering inside, they are. They're so sad. True. The man they suffering inside, they are. They're so sad. Aliens are mining on the moon. Yes, they are up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming